Let's get into this now and discuss with relationship and trauma therapist Sally Baker, who says there's no such thing as toxic femininity, and also the actress and writer Fran Foley Winston, who says this kind of behaviour has always existed. Welcome to both of you.
So Fran, it's not news to you that women can be, you know, they can flex their muscles.
No, it's not at all. I mean, we've all had that. If you look at the Mean Girls film and that syndrome, but we all had that at school, those kind of women. I know they were children at the time, but a lot of them that I have met later in life that were like that at school have grown into those kind of women. I've worked with women like that. I mean, there was one who was just terrible. She was up in everybody's business and totally didn't know. The difference with Love Island, obviously, is that they're cut off, so everything's a bit, you know, it's more like a pressure cooker. But she was being everybody's business. She'd be saying one thing to one person about another and manipulating the situation to try and get herself ahead. The difference was that obviously we would find out about this because we could talk amongst ourselves, but she would ring people when they were on holidays, screaming at them that they hadn't completed stuff before they went, just to ruin their holidays, and then tell them she was only doing her job, basically gaslighting them about it. This actually only happened quite recently. I've left, obviously, the place, but somebody told me about this. It's always existed. I just think it's like female serial killers. They're not as prolific as men, so you don't hear about it as often, but it does exist. And I mean, men do get abused as well. There are statistics to support that, physically, emotionally, mentally, all the forms of abuse. So obviously it exists. I think we're just seeing a very condensed and heightened version of it on Love Island because it is a microverse. They're not, you know, exposed to the real world. They're just in its very intense environment.
Well, let's bring in Sally Baker for her thoughts on this. Very much, Fran, then, there saying that this is a thing. You're not necessarily buying it.
It's a thing in as much that as toxic masculinity is when men only operate within a very kind of narrow definition of emotional range, and that's kind of anger and then more anger. And toxic femininity seems to be around the idea that women are speaking their truth to power, speaking out, being quite vocal, being quite shouty, being quite unpleasant. And that's against type. And I think it's progress for women that we are operating against type. One of the women last night on Love Island said, I'm tired of being nice. I think women are generally quite tired of being nice.
I'd love to meet one of these women who are nice. I really would.
Exist anymore.
I'd love to be, you know, every woman I know can hold her own.
Yeah.
I mean, you know the sort of women that I'm surrounded by, yourself included, and you all know your own. You're not going to walk over that
Are you calling me toxic? Well, I have a theory in all of this. Okay. Maybe we're just all toxic now. It's not toxic masculinity or toxic femininity. Apparently, maybe we're all just opinionated and can't see common ground, and we're all fighting each other, and we're all just declining into kind of...
The world's quite divisive.
Yeah. What's the word? Acrimony.
Acrimony. And we all want to have our voice heard. We're not these kind of wallflower women. I don't know when they were around, but they're not around anymore. We all need to make a stand. Eamon said they've gone completely from his life.
Yeah, yeah. No, you should. I'd like to welcome you into my life.
Welcome to your world.
Sally, you know, I suppose, you know, Fran's saying there it exists, you're recognising it exists as well. I suppose maybe what we're talking about is the proportion. Would you be saying that, you know, more men are more likely to, you know, flex their anger than women?
Generally speaking, yeah. And society only allows men to be angry. So Farmer Will, who's one of the boys, using Love Island parlance, he's the one that really has quite a wide emotional range, and he often talks about how upset he gets or how sad he gets about arguments. So he's broadening the emotional range that men are displaying on Love Island. But he's getting a lot of criticism on social media and being called out for showing too much emotion. Yeah. So men are held in straitjackets, women are held in straitjackets, and I think we're trying to break that down.